Hi, I'm Jaden Chandran, and today I'll be talking about downhill longboarding. Today I'll be speaking about a sport that was an obsession of mine throughout my adolescence, downhill longboarding. Have you ever wondered what it's like going 60 miles an hour down a mountain road wearing protective gear similar to that worn by that of professional motorcycle racers? That's what it's like to be a professional downhill longboarder. While I've never been a professional longboarder, for about 4 years I participated in a lesser version of the extreme space type professional racers, and I did so on the roads all around Arizona. Downhill longboarding is an exciting extreme sport with a rich history, specific gear, and riding techniques that distinguish it from traditional street skating. Downhill longboarding comes from a rich history that has its roots in surfing as the closest thing to surfing on concrete. So downhill longboarding really emerged as its own specific discipline from skateboarding in the surf communities of California and Hawaii. From Baker 2021, longboarding emerged as surfers' desire to take their craft to the pavement. And again from Baker 2021, the real first evidence or the first evidence of conception of longboarding occurred in the streets of Hawaii in the 1950s, 1960s. And that was really helped by the invention of urethane wheels, which is a softer plastic composite type material than the traditional hard clay wheels, and that kind of allowed people to do different maneuvers on skateboards, longboards, than they did in the past on the more traditional skateboards. And the first true downhill race occurred in 1975 on what was called Signal Hill. The race was done by riders using the first real iterations of longboards, longer versions of the skateboard, flat with no kicktails, and they use advanced gear such as full face helmets and leather race suits. It's from Harrington 2019. In addition, the race was a true speed run. The hill was just a straight shot. There was no slowing down, no curves. You just wanted to get to the bottom as fast as you could. And riders would reach speeds of up to 60 miles an hour. So because of these high speeds and the rapidly growing sport of downhill, riders were required to use different types of protection than traditional skateboarding to protect them in the event of a crash. They also need specific types of gear to slow down without using the brakes, because there's no brakes on a longboard. So the leather race suit is a staple of downhill racing, and it provides the most comprehensive protection in the event of a high-speed crash that can send a rider sliding several yards across the pavement. That's from NGK Leathers. And people think that you could wear something like jeans and be safe, but when you're going that fast, jeans might protect you from like a second or two of sliding, and then it's right to your skin, whereas leathers can protect you for up to 5 seconds of continuous sliding on pavement, which is very helpful. The leather suit, or leathers, as they are called by riders, is a combination of thick 2.5-ounce leather, Kevlar, and plastic composite pads in contact areas such as the elbows, the knees, and then on your back, kind of right below your like cervical spine area. The suit is supposed to be comfortable, but it really is just meant for protection and also impact absorption. So when you go down, the first thing that you're going to touch is your hands. So there are specific things called slide gloves that are worn by longboarders, and they're arguably the most crucial defense against injury. Gloves used by downhill racers have a leather Kevlar construction similar to many advanced motorcycle gloves. And here's a picture. So here's my gear. You can see the board up top. It's a real typical downhill board. It has a ovular shape, which is very good for cutting through the air, as well as very large wheels for good traction. And you can see the gloves right here with the slide pucks on them. And the slide puck allows the rider to place their hands down both for safety during a crash and for moves to shave speed. The palm of the hand slides effortlessly across the ground, even with a portion of the rider's weight on it. The gear worn by riders contributes to the specialized ways they control their boards to maintain speed and stability. So downhill riders, and when they want to slow down, they'll use either sliding or air braking as the two main techniques. Sliding a longboard essentially means the rider will break traction on their wheels and turn the board sideways so it's moving horizontally down the road as opposed to in line with the wheels. So in something called a heel slide, the rider's shoulders turn square to the road from the one shoulder forward position with their weight on the heels. And sliding can be done by either standing or squatting. And essentially you just want to turn the wheels against the transversely towards the road to slow down. Air braking is another common technique used by riders to slow down, and essentially is done when the rider stands upright on their board to try to get the most drag and create the most surface area to slow themselves down and have the most air pressing against them. And here is a picture. The two riders in the back you can see or the two riders in the front rather, they're standing upright as opposed to tucking, which means they really wanted to shave speed for the corner, but they don't want to break traction by sliding, so this is kind of in between, as sliding is the more effective of the two ways to slow down. And then riders use these skills to maintain the tightest line possible, all while avoiding other racers. In summary, I hope this speech has exposed you to a new sport that is continually growing in popularity. Longboarding has a rich history which has created a modernized sport with specific gear and riding techniques that set it apart from street skateboarding. From Baker 2021, downhill started in Hawaii in the 1950s, but is now a worldwide sport. Downhill racers use advanced boards and protective equipment. It takes a tremendous amount of skill to maneuver tricky courses while maintaining the most speed possible. Alright, now that you guys know about longboarding, let's go ahead and hit Southbound.